But then he would say what would become one of the most weighty things that would ever come out of his mouth, besides telling us to worship Allah. One of the most weighty things that he would give to this ummah would be the last thing he would say. He looked at this ummah and he said, those who are here today, convey this message to those that are not here. Subhanallah. Those who are here today, convey this message to those that are not here. For truly it may be that the person whom you convey the message to may understand it better than you. But the Prophet ﷺ understood. He was Khatam al-Nabi'een. I'm it. There's no more coming until the day of judgment. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to come until that day. So who now is going to do the job of conveying the message of Allah to humanity? He said, you will. This is your task now. He handed that torch to this ummah. That made us kuntum khayran ummatin ukhrijat linnas. That made us kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas. Ta'maruna bil ma'rufi wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. It's not just because you say la ilaha illallah makes you the best nation. If you're not out there trying to better the society you live in, tell other people to worship Allah like you worship Him, then you're just waiting to die. That's it. You might as well dig your grave now and just lay down in it and wait for the angel of death to come find you. Because you're not doing anyone any good, so just go benefit yourself. The Prophet ﷺ said, you have a job to do now. And that job is my job. The job that I did, you do it. Because I'm not going to be here anymore. I don't think we grasp that. This is what made this nation the nation that will be marched in front of everyone on the day of judgment. Izzah, honor, dignity given to this nation. The nation. But for you, do we convey this message to the world anymore? Do they know this? No, they don't. Because we keep it contained within these walls. We need to wake up. We need to wake up before we end up living in a place where we're not welcomed anymore. Before we end up waking up in a place where we're not welcome, and we cannot blame anyone but us, because we have not done our job. The Prophet ﷺ to continue to convey the message. Allah completed His deen on our shoulders, on the shoulders of this ummah, and we have dropped it by the wayside. Something that was placed on our shoulders as an izzah, we have placed it on the ground, and we have picked up this dunya and we've placed that on our shoulders. That's why we are humiliated everywhere we go. Because we have left our source of honor behind us and have picked up that which will humiliate us. It will. This dunya does nothing but humiliate. It honors no one. We forget to understand that this dunya does not honor anyone. It only humiliates people. The only people whom it honors are people who put it in its proper place and they put deen on top of it. Then it will become honored. But when you give dunya a place of prominence in your life, it will humiliate you. It's guaranteed. Last thing Allah will ever say to you. But after this, the Prophet ﷺ got sick. And he was laying his head on the chest of Aisha radiallahu anha. He was too sick to even get up, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He could not even lift his head barely. He couldn't even barely speak. He was looking at a miswak stick, and Aisha radiallahu anha asked him, do you want it? And he nodded in the affirmative. So she softened it with her own saliva, and her saliva became the last thing our Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam ever tasted in this life. That's a woman whom was given extreme honor by Allah azza wa jal. Her saliva was the last thing he ever tasted in this life, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah can heal you and you can recover from this illness. And he told this ummah two things. Two things. First of all, he said, as-salah, as-salah, as-salah. Don't forget your connection with Allah. This is what makes you Muslim. The difference between us and them is our salah. That's it. That's what differentiates us. Then Aisha radiallahu anha said, she saw him looking up and saying, Allahumma rafiq al-a'la. Allahumma rafiq al-a'la. Oh Allah, the companion upon Most High. Oh Allah, the companion upon Most High. She realized, she said, I realized that the angel of death was here and he wasn't choosing us. He wasn't choosing us. He was choosing them to go. And he sallallahu alaihi wasallam left on that day. His blessed soul was taken and transported into the highest ranks of Jannah that exist. And that became the most sad day for this ummah. Seriously. The companions said that on that day we checked our hearts and our hearts had changed. Our hearts weren't the same anymore. It was said about them that they were like sheep on a cold winter's night whose shepherd had left them. They did not even know where to go. Omar, who was the
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط